YouTube. Sorry for the shaking. I'm going down the driveway. It's Old Soldier coming at you again from Robeson County, North Carolina. On what is going to be, they say, a rather hot and scorching day. I can believe it because it got hot late yesterday. Morning time wasn't bad, but yesterday afternoon, I got out of the truck when I got home from work and I was like, whoa, where'd this heat bath come from? And tell you what, it did a number on the old body. But anyway, folks, that's for you, Kyle. I hope everybody's doing great this wonderful day. But let's talk about hypocrisy for a moment, and entitlement, and a glowing example of the world's oldest and biggest baby in Congress. Yes, I'm talking about Nancy makes me want to puke Pelosi and her getting her hair done scandal. They set me up. They owe me an apology. Oh, the horror of it all. Lady, you need to go stick a sock in it and just quit. You knew what you were doing when you went, because you're the House Speaker. You think you're that special, that you're above the laws that have been written in this land and in these states. Wherever you go, you think that people should make exception for you. That ain't the way it works, lady. It's like the first time you were the Speaker and you abused the powers of that office by using the Air Force as your own personal limousine service. And now you're going to cry foul that this so-called shop owner set you up? Well, how about you talk to the governor of that state you're from and have him change things to where people can actually open and do business normally, so that you ain't got to sneak around, you little hypocrite. Yeah. And I pray and hope that the majority of the people of California see this and see for her for what she is. So when it comes time for her re-election bid, she is sent packing. I think portions of California are starting to wake up and see some of the craziness of their politicians, their elected officials they've sent to represent them in Washington. And in other places too. There's a young lady running in Baltimore. Her name is Kimberly Klacik. One of her campaign ads shows her walking through Baltimore, and basically she's just pointing out that what 40 to 50 years of liberal governing has done to that city, or portions of that city. And she's garnering a lot of support. People who traditionally supported her predecessor, Elijah Cummings, who recently passed, whose wife, I think, is running for his vacant seat. Either way it goes, people are starting to open their eyes in some places. The question is, how many, are starting to see it. There's a couple representatives. There's one from Memphis that gave a speech, but he's been attacked by his own party. He's talking about now, at a minimum, running as an independent in Memphis. The other's the representative, the state representative from Georgia, who's still a Democrat, but sees President Trump's policies for what they are, and for the most part agrees with them, supports them. I'm not, I look at what's been put out and what statistics are available. Up until the whole COVID mess, the economy was on a positive note. But I tell you, folks, electing these liberals is not the solution. And there's some rhinos, and if you don't know what that is, it's Republican in name only. that need to go too, because they're just as in deep in bed with the liberals as the Democrats are, and have drank the Kool-Aid to the point that they're brainwashed, or the fact that they're that selfish and greedy, and that's the only reason they keep going back up to Washington, D.C. Either way it goes, that's the crowd we need to get out of office. And I think we need to get some people there that are going to institute term limits. Will that ever happen? I don't know if it'll ever happen in my lifetime, if ever, but that's what needs to happen. First and foremost, there needs to be legislation passed instituting term limits for the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate. I think for the House, they shouldn't be allowed to serve no more than 3 consecutive terms. And for the Senate, no more than 2 consecutive terms. If we limit the president to 2 consecutive terms, why can't we limit the House and the Senate? And I say that the reason I say the House 3 because the House seat is only a 2-year term. So let them serve at most 3 consecutive terms. That's 6 years to get something done. Okay. Senate, let them do 2 consecutive terms. Now, the other part is that if someone has run and they've served their 3 consecutive terms in the House, then they can't run for the Senate for 1 full Senate term. So that's 6 years before they can come back and run for the Senate. Okay? Because a lot of them sometimes will jump from the House to the Senate. Now, whatever the states decide to do in local policy, that's on them. Because you also get a lot of senators that go and run and be governor of their states. And sometimes the governors will step up into the Senate. But again, limit the Senate to 2 terms. That's it. And I think they need to go back to the way it used to be to an extent. And what is that? There was a time where the governor of the state basically appointed the senators. I think the governor should be allowed to appoint one, and the people should be allowed to elect the other. And again, my solution may not be perfect, but that's my proposal, folks. But definitively, term limits are absolutely 100% needed. Get rid of some of that riffraff that's up there. But yeah, I saw where, Pelosi was crying foul. Oh, woe is me. They did me wrong. I was set up. I'm owed an apology. No, Madam Speaker, you need to apologize to the American people for the fraud that you have perpetrated over these last 30 years or 40 years that you've been in Congress. That's what you need to do. Because I look at San Francisco and I see some of the districts you represent, and I see how San Francisco's becoming. Yeah, you owe the people of California and San Francisco a big apology. You can start by giving them reparations out of your multi-million-dollar income for what you've done to them, Nancy. That's what you can do. But anyway, folks. Like I said, I saw that. I figured I'd talk on that this morning because that one kind of, I think it's funnier than all get out that they caught her. And, and I don't expect anything less from her because nothing's ever her fault. Just like the former president, nothing was ever his fault. It was always his predecessor, or it was the Republicans, or it was this, or it was that. But let's just keep throwing taxpayer money at the problem. Let's just keep giving away taxpayer dollars for shovel-ready jobs we had Michelle's friends over for Christmas, and her friend is one of the executives on the board of Solyndra, but that had no influence on us giving them $500 million, and they still folded, for this, that, or the other. Okay. But that wasn't our fault. No. Wasn't my fault. Wasn't our fault. Oh, now the American people owe me an apology because, white America is so racist against me. Oh, that's what Michelle's saying anyway. And I'm thinking, well, there are a lot of white people that voted for both you and Barack. And I'm not trying to make this about race, but when they start calling it out, I'm going to call it the way it is. Again, it's a level of hypocrisy and lies to deceive and to create deception and disruption. But it ultimately boils down to the communist plot to try and institute socialist communism here in the United States. And they're going to use whatever propaganda they can to get there. Again, start reading the Naked Communists that tell you these things. Part of their plan was to infiltrate churches, schools, universities. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. That California DA who was telling police officers to consider the needs of looters before arresting them. That one just, reminds me of the old Band-Aid commercial, but it goes to the tune like this. Stuck on stupid, you stupid, stuck on you. Yeah, that's about the stupidest thing I've heard all week. Consider the needs of the looters before you arrest them. Yeah, no. If you're looting, you're stealing. If you're stealing, you're breaking the law. If you're breaking the law, you need to go to jail. Okay? Plain, simple, cut and dry. But anyway, folks, I've rambled on long enough this morning. Headed off to work. I'm going to go and try and teach two young minds about DC-AC electricity and electronics and theory and all that good jazz. And hopefully they'll get something out of it. But until tomorrow, folks, God bless, take care. So drought.